Hi, this is Susan Kayne. Thanks for tuning in to another special segment from Unbridled. I took our crew deep inside the Saratoga backstretch to unbridle more of the secrets behind the world's fastest racehorses. A key component to every successful stable is the farrier. I caught up with West Coast-based Bob Rynearson to find out just why trainers fly him cross-country to shoe their million-dollar stakes winners.
We are working on some new products with Thoroughbred. Ed's a friend of mine, and I work in conjunction with him, and I try to help give him input on his products, and he has probably one of the most complete line of horse products as far as shoeing goes, especially race orientated, along with the other types of equine, whether it be barrel racing or jumping or dressage or whatever. He has shoes just about for everything. Their quality is phenomenal. What we're doing here is nothing all that elaborate, other than we're trying to create a situation whereas we can shoe horses a little bit more regularly without doing damage to the feet. As most people know, that most horseshoes are nailed on, and through nailing on you are putting small holes in the feet, and then as you take off a shoe and put a shoe back on, you create more holes. Well, the old holes are in a different spot than the new holes, so you have water, stuff from the stalls, whether it be bedding or manure or whatever, that all can seep into the holes. So at that point there is, to some degree, a minute amount of deterioration that goes on to the foot. It's not any real substantial thing that good hoof care won't pretty much control. But on the other hand, as farriers especially, and whether it be a trainer or a horseshoer, we're always constantly trying to minimize the amount of damage that happens through the process of what we do to prepare horses' feet and to shoe them. And so what we're trying to do is create products on a regular basis that are improving that situation.
What would be the regular interval that you would shoe a horse with solid, healthy feet?
If they're running competitively, probably between 3 and 4 weeks. A lot of it depends on whether or not they're running on a different surface than the previous time, because sometimes you change shoes just because of the surface, not because they actually need to be shod as far as their foot growth goes.
Bob, we just watched you shoe Pomeroy with Thoroughbred shoes. Now, was that a specific shoe for a specific purpose on him?
The Thoroughbred shoes that we used have a black rubber bonding on them. It works as two purposes. One is as a cushion between the foot and the shoe, and it's impossible to get feet perfectly flat or shoes perfectly flat. The thin amount of rubber that goes in between there, which theirs is a very natural rubber, it's an all natural rubber that is cured to the shoe, and the bonding process is probably surpassed by nobody in the industry as far as adhesion. It has the very best adhesion of any bonded shoe that I know of on the market.
That shoe comes in the box already prepared with the rubber on it?
Yes.
I've heard you use the phrase stickies.
Okay.
Can you expound on that?
We have more than one gluing process. In fact, there's numerous gluing processes, but the two most common are a 2-part acrylic, which is normally just bonding a regular aluminum shoe to the foot. I'm working with Thoroughbred in the process of trying to create a shoe using different types of natural rubber and other things that we have tried to create a bonding between the foot where we don't have to use any nails, but yet we don't have to do any preparation to any exterior parts of the foot, only to the bottom. And we actually use a very short curing time glue to adhere the shoe, the bonded shoe, to the foot.
What are the pros and cons?
The 2-part acrylic type glue-ons, they restrict the horse's foot to the amount of movement that the shoe will allow. And whereas with our new process that we're working on, it has a soft natural rubber bonding between, which allows the foot to work normally and is not restricted by the amount of give that's in the shoe itself.
Can you give us some examples or situations where the glue-on shoes or your new type of glue-on per se is appropriate to use?
If you want to, for whatever reason it might be, to put a shoe on and take it off in a very short period of time, it works very well because you can put them on, take them off with no damage to the foot.
What has your experience been with Lionheart with shoes that are not nailed on his feet?
We've had really good luck. Lionheart's feet are really very good. But on the other hand, we like to be able to change the shoes for different reasons, and this allows us to do so without creating any damage to the feet. We nail him part of the time and we glue him part of the time, but it just kind of depends on what we have in regards to plans for training purposes.
What advice would you give to farriers that are considering using glue-ons or stickies as an alternative?
We deal with a lot of different situations. As farriers, everybody has different outlooks on why they do what they do and so forth. And of course, I'm no smarter than anybody else. We all basically work on our past knowledges. As we shoe horses, we create opinions in our minds, and then we use them in regards to other horses. What I have found is, as a rule of thumb, we probably will always have a tendency to lean toward nail-on shoes, because as a whole, the majority of the horses get along with it just fine. But in special conditions, the two-part acrylic glue-on allows a person to get the same type of a effect that a bar shoe would with clips, without having an enclosed heel, and allowing the grooms and so forth to be able to clean and treat the feet properly. And then with the nicknamed sticky shoe, it also allows us to do the same thing, but it will allow the horse's foot. Some feet on horses need the expansion, and some, because of maybe an internal problem or so forth, would want the restriction. And so if they need the restriction, you'd probably be better off with a acrylic type glue-on shoe versus the sticky shoe, which allows the total normal, which would be the action of a horse with a bare foot.
And as a farrier, what input would you like to hear from owners and trainers that would help you do your job more effectively?
I would say that all information in any way, shape, or form, because we basically are taking whatever input we have and balancing it between what we've already learned over the years and make an intelligent decision. So what might seem as a non-important piece of information input could very well. So I would say anything, anything that in relationship to something that maybe the trainers noticed, maybe past history, like if an owner had a horse and then he sent it into a barn, it might be pertinent information if the farrier knew that the horse had had such and such a problem or circumstance somewhere in the past.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate your time, and hopefully our viewers at home learned something new about shoeing horses from the exclusive farrier to Lionheart.